All right, good evening, everyone. Thanks so much for tuning in this evening as I recap for you what happened and what I observed at the Australian Crypto Convention this weekend. It was a really cool event, and I'm really pleased I got to be there. Now, before I start, let me just go ahead and see if I can pull my iPad up here. Yep. I'm going to go ahead with the old non financial disclaimer here, letting you know that anything I say is educational in purpose. It's based on my observations, and you shouldn't base any investment decisions on it without actually taking into consideration your own financial situation. We're all, adults. We all take that on board. It's important to understand that we're making decisions that can impact our financial future. So please be responsible. As we launch into this, I want to highlight for you some places where you normally get information about crypto and what might be some problems with them. So often the media, we might hear on the news, like lately, I know it's been on the news. My 77-year-old mum told me it was on the news in New Zealand, and they were telling it, there was an article coming up where they were going to tell her all she needed to know about crypto, which is fantastic. Unfortunately, the media, as it says here, they want to sell ad space. They'll tell you the industry's a scam. They'll tell you it's dead over and over again. Maybe not at the moment because crypto is soaring, but we've all heard them say that. They're generally looking to present their agenda, present their own view. So it's not necessarily a trustworthy source of information. Then we've got uninformed friends and family. Now, we've all got these people that in our friends and family who love us dearly and want the best for us, but really don't understand crypto. So automatically write it off. It's all based on their model of reality and what goes on for them. So, just be careful who you listen to in that world. The regulators, which happen to be generally a group of old white guys, unfortunately, they've stated they feel threatened by the technology and how it can undermine the traditional systems and the existing systems that we've lived in. So they don't know how to control it and regulate it. And they're trying to, but they can't keep up. So, that's where you see things like the SEC in the United States continually trying to sue crypto projects or sue crypto exchanges, etc., because they can't keep up. Hopefully, now, with the changes in the US government, we're actually going to see some more positive stuff coming from there. And then there's the out of industry professionals. Now, here I'm talking about your accountants, your financial planners, etc. They have a great desire to keep their clients safe, but generally they just don't have a great understanding of the underlying technology. Now, accountants, financial planners, great professionals. We all need them. Hopefully, we're all using them. Really, really good. But when it comes to crypto, unfortunately, they're not all that clued up. There's some really good accountants around now. Financial planners, it's outside the scope of what they can talk about. So, with financial planners, especially here in Australia, New Zealand, I'm aware of, they have a range of products they can talk about because they're things they're insured for. So, if something goes wrong, the financial planner is insured against the advice they give you in case that advice is bad and you decide to sue them. Well, cryptocurrency doesn't fall under that umbrella. So financial planners actually can't give you advice on crypto presently. So we just have to watch out for where we're getting our information. So with that said, who am I if you don't know me? I'm Paul Holland. I know there's a bunch of people on here that do know me. There's a few names I don't recognize. So hello to new friends. As it says there, speaker, coach, pilot, and occasional race car driver. My background was originally media and marketing. I've traveled around the world teaching Facebook advertising. I've been in crypto since 2017, full time since 2019. So, approaching my 6th year full time in crypto, and actually started teaching people crypto in 2019 as well. I was with some partners actually building applications. So it wasn't just about learning to make money in crypto and teaching it to others. We were actually deep in the projects, in the code, building crypto projects, building a stablecoin wallet, a dashboard that we built, a yield generation platform that we were working on. So I got deep into the code, which gives me a little bit of a different point of view that not only do I understand how the market goes up and down, the money making opportunity of crypto, but I actually understand the technology behind it down to the code level. Absolutely love it. And I've been teaching people since 2019, as I said. I do this for my own lifestyle. I like to have fun. As you can see, I do fly small aircraft. I do race cars. And that's why I do what I do, because it gets to fund that lifestyle. And crypto is this incredible opportunity that we have in front of us for a wealth transfer and transforming our wealth. And I'm sure that's why you're all here, because you're aware of that. I'm just curious. I'll get you to type in the chat for me. Get your fingers ready to go. But I'm curious for a yes or a no, please. Do you actually already hold some crypto? I just want to sort of get a sense of the audience here and understand, are you all holding crypto? Are there any brand new people here? So go ahead, type in the chat. I got a bunch of yeses coming through. Yes from some people I know, some yeses from some people I don't know yet, which is fantastic. It's great. Seems like most of us are actually holding crypto already. No. Okay, so we've got a no there, which is fantastic. Good opportunity, good timing. Really pleased that you're here, Sally, because this is an opportunity like no other. And I'm going to recap for you what I sort of discovered at the conference and what that means for us. So, last weekend in Sydney, Saturday, Sunday, was the Australian Crypto Convention. It was great timing because I actually went to Sydney for 5 days for some family stuff. So, I was able to spend Saturday at the convention wandering around, seeing a bunch of people I know, catching up with friends, listening to some presentations, and checking out the exhibitors. Okay, there was 70 to 80 exhibitors at the conference, and this is where I really started to notice the themes that are coming through, and that's what I want to share with you tonight. Three things that I really picked up here. So the first takeaway that I got is that retail is coming. Okay. More and more investors like you or I, individuals, couples, mums and dads, are coming into this market at a great rate of knots. And the reason I know that is based on who the exhibitors were that were there. And the majority of the exhibitors were people that were chasing retailers, right? So we had a bunch of exchanges. Okay, exchanges are where most people get a start with crypto. So your CoinSpot, your CoinJar, your SwiftX, etc. So they were there. All three of those: CoinSpot, CoinJar, SwiftX were there. Binance was there. Bybit was there. Coin Dealers, Coins.xyz, 1inch, a decentralized exchange, was there. Ainsley are there. Ainsley were traditionally a gold and silver bullion dealer. These days they do crypto and all sorts. They were there as well. These other places: MHC, convert at zero cost; CoinStash, an Australian crypto exchange; WayX. These guys I had heard of but didn't know anything about them. But these guys, another centralized exchange, their logo there says "Dive into Australia's deepest liquidity," and they built this giant water tank. They had this giant water tank there, and everyone was throwing tokens in it. You could win a prize, and throw your tokens in. And every now and then, someone would get in the tank. Guy with a snorkel would get in the tank and dive down and pull out tokens. But all these exchanges are there. All these retail exchanges are there, and that just highlights to me they're after the business. They know that more and more and more people are coming into the market. Okay, some of us have been in the market for a few years, have seen friends and family start to get interest. And as we run into this bull run where we are right now in the market, we're coming into this bull market that's going to run in 2025. Media interest is up. People are hearing about it on the news. They're talking about it. Your Uber driver is probably talking to you about crypto. Interest is running up. And the fact that all these exchanges were there really highlighted for me that they just want to capture that retail business. And it wasn't just the exchanges. We had other retail focused businesses. So on the left here, Day by Day, these guys are relatively new, but they're an insurance company. Okay. So they're launching crypto based insurances. So using liquidity pools to fund insurance policies. Your insurance is represented by an NFT on the blockchain. So at the moment, they're just insuring electronics, so laptops, phones, cameras, etc. But they want to move towards more and more traditional things like um, property, like contents, like life insurance. They want to go more and more towards that. But they're using the blockchain, they're using liquidity pools where you can put money into a liquidity pool, earn interest on it, and it's that liquidity that they're using that they can actually operate the insurance business from. So fascinating to see these businesses that are taking the technology, the blockchain technology, using it for different um, different use cases, and they were there at the conference, launched now. This one here, this one uh, is a crypto you can spend natively. Now, not advocating this at all because I don't know much about it, but these guys have been out signing up merchants. Okay, they've been out door to door, street to street, going out, signing up shops, signing up merchants to take their crypto that you can spend straight from your crypto wallet. Now, I think that's a great thing. It's going to bring more interest, more business interest, and that's actually, something I'm going to talk about a bit more. I'm not sure that this specifically is a play that I would be following because we have crypto debit cards, right? We've got a crypto.com card. We've got various other cards. Grinio was another one that I saw there. I actually don't think I have a photo of them, but yeah, there was a couple of debit card providers there that are looking to um, drive people in. Uh, kind of like CoinGen, but kind of different as well, because Coin had that whole barter card hangover thing. But yeah, there's so many debit cards now, and there was a couple of debit card providers here as well. Um, we had Bamboo. So Bamboo is a micro investing app. If any of you have used an app called Acorn, it used to be called Acorns a long time ago. It's called Raise now, Raiz, where you do micro investing. Has anyone actually used Raise or has Raise on their phone? The way it works is that you put it on your phone, you hook it up to your bank account, and it rounds up your transactions. So if you spent $3.50 on something, it would take 50 cents. If you spent, 27.95, it would take 5 cents. So just every time you do a transaction, it's rounding up and it's just taking those little amounts out of your bank account so you never notice it and investing them. Now, Raise is traditional investments. So it works like a mutual fund, and just over time you build money. One of my clients in the wealth fund program actually just drew $2,000 from her raise that's just accumulated over the last couple of years, which is fantastic. At the conference, Bamboo was there. So Bamboo is an app that does exactly the same thing. So you can do that roundup where it's taking those little chunks from your bank account, rounding up your transactions. But with them, it's investing in crypto. So that's another example of just these customer facing interfaces, retail user facing interfaces. Miners, there was a couple of companies there representing, promoting is the word, promoting miners, where you can buy, some of them were individual. These ones are looking for institutional, larger scale, 50 miners. But yeah, they're looking at getting people in. There was another one there that definitely was for individuals. Then you had an accountant. There were two accountants there, actually. So there were these guys, Sila. There was another one, another accountant there whose name slips my mind at the moment. But they're there talking to people, making sure they understand their crypto tax obligations and how to manage it. Hardware wallets. If you're in crypto and you've got a hardware wallet, a Trezor, a Ledger, etc., great. If you don't have one, highly recommend getting one. Allows you offline, what we call cold storage. So your assets actually aren't on your computer. Your private keys are offline, harder to access. So these guys, I didn't actually think this was a great product, but they had a Bitcoin cold storage wallet. But Ledger, if you have a Ledger wallet, Ledger actually had a stand there at the conference as well. So various things. Here's Mining Store, Imperial Wealth. So Mining Store is somewhere you can go if you want to get into crypto mining. And then there was a couple of different game people as well. So obviously, very much retail focused. Of the 70 or 80 exhibitors that were there, I would say that a good 70% of them were focused on retail. That range of exchanges, and then the gaming, the micro investing, the crypto tax, the mining, the insurance product. All of those sort of things you can do. There was a couple of others too. I don't know. Oh yeah, these two here actually. That I have got the photos here. Crypto-backed loans as well. So very much targeting investors. So these guys are called Block Earner. They're a good product. They've been around for a while. These guys, Veiled, I didn't know them, wasn't aware of them before the show, but they're both services that allow you to use your crypto as collateral for a loan. So you can put up Bitcoin. I think with Block Earner, it's just Bitcoin and Ethereum, maybe Solana. You can put up as collateral, and then you can actually loan stablecoins against it. So you can hold that asset and loan against it if you wanted to. So yeah, again, more and more retail and then games, as I said. So definitely a strong retail focus, more and more people coming in. Now, this was backed up to me. I sort of saw this, right? I wandered around. I was wandering around. I was going, wow, they're all just after the new user. They're all after the retail user. In my mind, and crypto conferences I've been to before, because through 2018, 2019, I went to crypto conferences all over the world, in the US and Asia, and it was amazing. And it was all people who were heavily in the industry, like lots of developers and lots of builders and things like that. So I found it really interesting. Now, of course, 5 years down the track, first conference for a while, but it was just different to me. There was such a retail focus. But then I went to listen to a presentation, and it was a presentation about where the market's at and the cycles and the bull run and things like that. The theater was about 1,000 people, and it was full. It was full of people listening to this talk, and the speaker was asking questions about things that happened in the last bull market. Okay, so he was asking questions about who had bought certain things, or who had got involved in NFTs, um, other questions, who went all in on DeFi tokens in the last run. All these things are related to the 2021 bull market. And what amazed me was that there weren't that many hands going up. Out of that room of 1,000 people, there was maybe 15, 20% of people that were raising their hands when he was asking these questions, which tells me that the majority of people in that room are new to crypto. They weren't there for those last cycles, because these questions were all things that people were doing in that last cycle. So again, it just showed me that those exhibitors were probably in the right place because the audience was new. So this is a great thing for crypto. Like, we've been talking about adoption for a number of years. In 2019, my partners and I were building a stablecoin wallet, and we were designing features into it that would help with adoption and bringing people in. Now, we were, 5 years too early. Right now, that'd be going off that technology, but we were 5 years too early. The technology wasn't ready for what we were trying to do, but it's obviously there now. So it was incredible for me to see how many new users were coming and pouring into the space. Let me go over to the chat. If you've got questions over, guys, throw them in there. Um, Confidence in the market is increasing 100%. Janice, definitely is. Faith, I have a question. One of my banks used to deposit fiat onto the exchange has blocked my card. It won't let me deposit anymore. What can we do? Get a new bank. This is an ongoing challenge. Banks are scared. It's kind of ridiculous, because what they should be doing is embracing this technology. Imagine if one of the major banks came out and made crypto available through the bank, what that would do for them, what that would do for the crypto market. But they're scared. They're losing control of the market. Not everyone's coming to them for their investment products, their term deposits anymore. So they're imposing these rules. And the rules don't seem to be uniform. They seem to vary from person to person, day to day. So, you know, there's three things I'd say here. One, try a different bank. Two, talk to them. Tell them you know what you're doing. Get them to lift that ban. Three, you could try going to the banking ombudsman and say they're unfairly restricting your use of your own funds. I don't know anyone who's done that, but it could be of interest. Four, there's another solution, and I'm going to put a link in the chat for you here, is to use a broker. Rather than using an exchange, use a broker. Let me just type this in, and then I'll tell you what I mean. Okay, so I've just put a link in the chat there, wealthfarm.co/stormrake. Okay, Stormrake are a full service crypto broker. Now, they're not a crypto exchange, they're a broker. They're registered with AUSTRAC, etc., fully licensed in Australia, and they are a full service broker like you'd have a stockbroker. Now, they do have minimum transaction sizes of $2,000, so they're not for smaller $100 transactions and things. But if you're wanting to move money into the market, Stormrake are an excellent service. And one of the big advantages here is that your bank won't stop transactions to them. Okay, if they've stopped transactions going to CoinSpot and things like that, they won't have any issue with you sending money to Stormrake because they're just another Australian registered business. They don't necessarily know what they do, but the guys there at Stormrake are fantastic. They've told me time and time again that, yep, they've not had problems with anyone actually um, having issues transferring. So, yeah, talk to your bank. Maybe try the ombudsman, see if they'll release those funds, let it go. Or if you're doing over $2,000 at a time, I'd highly recommend click that link, come back to it later, fill it in. It takes 10 minutes to set up an account. It's a personalized service. You can ring them, you can email them. It's really, really great. I have the CoinJar debit card. The digital card is working. The physical card isn't. Talk to CoinJar, see if they can reissue you a new card. Hem said ANZ allows transfers to crypto exchanges. ING Westpac St George recently stopped. It's all different. Actually had this conversation with my clients on our weekly Q&A call this morning. Someone's using ING, so yeah, it changes case to case. The one thing I would do is I would speak to them, let them know you are experienced with crypto, that you're not getting scammed, and get them to put a note on your file. See if that can help. Yes, Stormrake are excellent as an off ramp as well as an on ramp. And sorry, this isn't meant to be an ad for Stormrake, but I do really like them. One of the things they do, they aggregate across 30 exchanges and 10 OTC desks. So they're always going to get you the best rates, okay? Because they're looking at all those different exchanges and the 10 OTC desks. So they're going to get you the best rates. And also by using that link, the wealthfarm.co/stormrake, that'll associate that I sent you along and you'll actually get a discount on their fees as well. Their standard fee is 3%. It would come down to 2% if you sign up using that link. So yeah, really good option for on or off ramp. They'll just send funds straight back to your bank account. Cool. All right. So retail is coming. Takeaway number one. Number two, business interest is rising. Now, by this, I mean everyday sort of Australian businesses looking at how they can either accept crypto or get more involved in crypto. What did I see that sort of told me this? So these guys here, Alchemy Pay, they've been around for a while. Great business based out of Singapore, but they are a go-to solution for taking payments. As you can see, all the icons on the sign there. Visa, MasterCard, Google Pay, Apple Pay, Pay ID, etc. So they help businesses get set up with those things to be able to actually, deal with crypto. These guys are a bit confusing, but they're providing decentralized Web3 storage, security protocols, and things like that. Not something a retail user needs, but something that can apply for businesses. So decentralized physical infrastructure in terms of on-chain storage. There was a couple of blockchains represented, actually more than two. These are two of the bigger ones. So Casper and Tron. Casper and Tron are both blockchains, and they were there with their exhibits. Now, they're not there promoting to retail users, right? Because most of the retail users are working through exchanges. As much as I want them to be decentralized and using the blockchains, they are using exchanges. These guys there were talking to business owners about how they can bring their business onto the blockchain, how they can use the blockchain for data storage and things like that. So it was cool to see that. There was those two. There was also one other layer two solution that I saw there. So that was super cool. Ubiquity. Ubiquity is like a cloud infrastructure provider. Blockchat. Blockchat is for people building communities. Okay. So coaches, consultants, people like that, if you're building a community, they're actually looking at how you can use Web3 for those communities and tie them to your wallets. And you can use tokens as access gateways for people coming in and out of different chats. So again, all focused on business. These guys, Labries, these are a Web3 development business. So they're helping businesses actually integrate with crypto, build applications and things. And these guys, these are specifically for businesses doing crypto stuff, they do Web3 security. So if you're bringing smart contracts, if you're putting parts of your business on the blockchain, these guys are a security firm for doing that stuff. So retail investors was number one, but two, just more opportunities for businesses. I think this has still got a long way to go. I think businesses have got a long way to go to come on, but definitely interesting to see that happening there. And then the third thing is that we're really just getting started. It was crazy listening to some of the presentations, just really helping for me ground home some of the information I've been reading, taking in, and learning about. And one of the things that was mentioned is actually something I've sort of looked at a couple of times lately. If you've seen my YouTube videos, you will have seen this. But this is a graph from Google Trends. So Google Trends is a tool that Google provides for us that allows us to see what people are searching for. And this is the search data for crypto. Okay, so we'll zoom in here and we'll have a look. So this is 2017. And in 2017, we had a bull market. Okay, so as we came through the year. So this graph starts at May. As we came towards the end of 2017, October, November, December, we had a bull market. And we can see here this search data has gone up and peaked. So as the bull market was running, people were hearing about it, they're going to Google and they're looking for crypto. And then afterwards, of course, the market corrects. After a bull run, we have a correction. In this case, the market went down 83%. And search interest died off because crypto's a scam, crypto's dead, it was a bubble, da 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 da. So search interest died off until 2021. Well, actually through 2020 into 2021. And again, that was the next run in our 4 year cycle, and interest peaked. As interest peaked, people start going and looking for stuff on crypto online. And we can see here that, interest peaked way up there compared to where it was, down here for 2017, which makes perfect sense to me because did more people know about crypto, have an interest in crypto, have wallets in crypto, own crypto by 2021 than they did in 2017? To me, the answer is yes. I'm sure you'll agree with me that more people did. So it's only natural then that when we look at the scale, we see that search interest was higher. So, with that said, would it be fair enough to assume, give me a yes in the chat box if you agree with me, but would it be fair enough to assume that as we go through this bull run, we come through the end of 2024, we're into 2025, if the market does what it's always done, we should be running up until September-ish next year. Is it fair to assume that more and more people will be aware than were previously? More people will be aware of crypto than there were in 2017, than there were in 2021, as we go into 2025. So that would mean that our Google search data will actually go higher again. And where are we right now? We're down here. We're way down here. Okay, we had a peak. So this is this year. Now we had this peak here. That happened in January. Okay. So in January, we had the Bitcoin ETFs approved, which brought retail investors in the United States through the large fund managers like BlackRock and Grayscale. So when those ETFs got approved, we had a run on Bitcoin and interest peaked. Then it dived off again. Now we're back down here. The dots indicate where they think it's going, but relatively to where we are, look at where that sits. It's nowhere. When technically it should be going like this, and it will go like that. Okay? We'll head up and to the sky. So that just reinforces to me from a retail point of view, we are just getting started because that Google search interest hasn't even come up yet. And then there's other things that came up. There was discussion about institutional ownership and government ownership of Bitcoin. Now, this is pretty incredible. There's a guy called Michael Saylor, runs a company called MicroStrategy. Who's heard of Michael Saylor and MicroStrategy? He's been buying Bitcoin for the last couple of years, putting billions of dollars of Bitcoin on the balance sheet of his publicly listed company. How would what be possible, Jen? Give me a little more info. So he's got a publicly listed company, so you can buy shares on the stock exchange in MicroStrategy. And a lot of those public companies often hold cash on their books. So with MicroStrategy, he's been buying Bitcoin and it's made them a ton of money. I mean, Bitcoin's up 6x from the start of, or from the bottom of the last cycle. So he's been doing that. But now Michael Saylor is in the media all the time. He's being quoted all the time. He's going on all the big news networks talking about it. He's now going to talk to other public companies about it. So this week he was talking to Microsoft's board about buying Bitcoin and holding Bitcoin on their balance sheet. How would that be possible? The government owning Bitcoin. Do you mean they want to control all the Bitcoin? No. Who controls Bitcoin? Curious. Someone give me an answer. Who controls Bitcoin? No one. Bitcoin is a decentralized currency that exists on the blockchain. Okay. So no one controls it. What they can do is buy it, but they don't want to buy all of it to take away from us. They want to buy it because it's going to change their freaking economic circumstances. So we've got countries like El Salvador. I talked again this morning's client Q&A call. We were actually talking about this. Shirag, I think you're here. Yeah, Shirag asked this morning, and we're talking about it. So El Salvador adopted Bitcoin as a legal tender 2 or 3 years ago. So Bitcoin became an official currency in the country, and the government started using money to buy Bitcoin and hold Bitcoin. So as part of their treasury holdings, they actually began to buy Bitcoin. Now, I can't tell you how much they have. What I can tell you is that the amount of Bitcoin they own has now gone up in value to the point where they have enough cash to pay off their national debt to the IMF. Okay. Now, pretty much every country in the world, I believe, certainly most westernized country, have debt. We know that here in Australia, our government has debt. New Zealand, we have debt. The United States, we know the debt clock goes through the roof. Okay, so El Salvador also had debt that it had borrowed from the IMF, from other countries. They've actually now got enough. They can pay that back and be completely independent, which is absolutely amazing. So we're seeing that sort of thing happening. And then we're seeing other nations that have also been taking it on, including like tiny nations like the nation of Bhutan taking on Bitcoin. And what we're starting to see now is bigger countries doing it. Through Europe, I know Germany are doing it. In the US, which is a very, very influential market for crypto, right? I mean, 300 million people, world leader, world superpower, but very influential. So Donald Trump has proposed a plan, which is going through the Senate or will go through the Senate, where they would buy 200,000 Bitcoin per year for 5 years with an aim to accumulate 1 million Bitcoin with the goal of holding those for 20 years. Not with the goal of making money in 2025 when the bull run goes, or maybe hoping there's another bull run in the future, with the goal of holding those Bitcoins for not less than 20 years. Okay. So what does that tell us? Okay. Big public companies investing in Bitcoin, institutional money coming in, countries coming in. It tells us that the days of someone telling you crypto is a scam and a bubble, they're just over. Like that argument cannot hold up anymore. It is a legitimate investment asset. And I've been saying this for years. As much as stocks, as much as gold and silver, as much as commodities, Bitcoin, crypto in general, but Bitcoin specifically in this example, is a legitimate investment asset for businesses, for people to hold on their books, to use to make money. So anyone who doesn't understand that at this point hasn't been following what's going on. So it was really interesting at the conference to just see that mix of brand new retail users, people pitching to businesses, and then talking about like that search data I showed you, talking about institutional money, talking about countries, sovereign countries taking on Bitcoin. It really just makes me even more incredibly bullish for the future of Bitcoin and of cryptocurrency. Now, those who know me, those who are part of my Wealth Farm program, they know I talk about crypto for the long term. I think there's so many people out there that just shill the get rich quick, crypto's in a bull run, make $1 million, buy this stupid meme coin and get rich quick. That is not what I believe. I believe anyone in 2 to 3 Bitcoin cycles, 2 to 3 crypto cycles, can create significant wealth for themselves and their family through solid strategies, buying solid coins, allowing the market to do what it does, understanding what the cycles are and how to take advantage of them, and just being patient, doing this over a long period of time, not trying to just use leverage or buy meme coins to try and shortcut it. There's a really interesting study that's just been done talking about Twitter influencers promoting meme coins. And it was saying that 80% of influencers are promoting coins that are already dead. And only 1%, what was it? 1% promote coins that do a 10x multiple. Okay. So people are diving into meme coins looking for 50x, 100x, 1000x, become an overnight millionaire. The reality is that of all those Twitter influencers telling you which one to buy, only 1% of those people will pick a coin that does a 10x. So it's just a crazy risky game. Yes, some people are going to make money on it. Absolutely. It's going to happen. But the risk is not worth the reward when we're talking about your hard earned money. When you just play a long game and wait, okay? 2 cycles, 3 cycles, you can actually build an enormous amount of wealth over time, okay? As more and more of these larger institutions come in, buy up, they're going to be holding more. It's going to create scarcity. It's going to start squeezing the Bitcoin supply a bit, which is going to create scarcity, which is going to continue to drive the price up. And as we now get close to $100,000 a Bitcoin, my belief that we can get to $1 million a Bitcoin is actually starting to come in. I've never really thought too much about it because it always just sounded too crazy and too far out there. But as I look at where we are now from, when I first got involved in Bitcoin, I think was maybe $1,300, something like that. It's now $100,000 or close enough to $100,000. And looking at what's going on over time and these projections that are coming in, it is conceivable that we'll get to $1 million Bitcoin. Now, is it going to happen? I don't know. I think it is just a matter of time now. I could be completely wrong. I want to be right because it's going to do incredible things for me, for my family, for my students, for my friends, and I want it to be able to do incredible things for you guys as well. So what I want to do is just take a minute and talk to you about the Wealth Fund program, if that's okay, and just let you know how it works. Wealth Farm is a program that we developed, myself and Roscoe Patterson, my business partner. Some of you guys know Roscoe. We developed this program to help people understand the crypto market and understand investment strategy. Okay. So many people throw money into the market and lose it. They get excited at this time. They through the bull run. And I know Ed's here. I know Hems is here. They've been through bull markets before. They've seen the hysteria that goes on, the madness that goes on, where everyone thinks they're a financial genius and starts throwing more and more money at the market, only for it to come tumbling down because they weren't prepared. They didn't have a system to follow. So with Wealth Farm, we built a system and tools to educate people around crypto. And there's 3 phases to it: equip, deploy, and grow. Okay. First off, you need to actually equip yourself with a strategy and with knowledge. Going and buying crypto on an exchange and just leaving it sitting there is not really understanding crypto. It's not what crypto is designed to do. It actually has inherent dangers leaving it sitting on the exchange. What you need to do is actually understand the workings of crypto, understand how self custody works so you can actually hold your own assets, and then understand the tools that are available to you, like decentralized exchanges, like yield earning platforms, like liquidity pools, things like that. If you don't know what I'm talking about, that's okay. I can share with you. Then you actually need to deploy and you actually need to get money into the market and working for you. It's amazing the number of people I speak to that maybe have bought a little bit of crypto, but they've been too scared to actually jump in further or buy more. Or they've looked at opportunities to earn yield on their crypto, but they haven't actually taken that step. So once you've equipped, you need to actually deploy. And deploy actually means having a system for how you're going to do it, actually understanding how you're structuring your portfolio. And then grow. The third phase is grow. Then you want to look at how you can accelerate this thing. So you don't want to be jumping into the meme coins trying to make money straight away. You want to get equipped, you want to deploy with a strategy, and then you want to look at how you can accelerate this thing. What are the strategies that we use? So within Wealth Farm, we teach a methodology of actually breaking your portfolio up into different chunks. Those chunk sizes can vary, but as example, right now we're looking at 65, 25, and 10%. Excuse my scribbling. That looks awful, doesn't it? Let's fix that. So, what are we talking about here? We're talking about not having all your eggs in one basket. Okay. And then when you are deploying, actually deploying with a strategy. So, what are we looking at here? So, 65%, we're looking at buying what I would refer to as like blue chip cryptos. So, in the real world, you'd be talking about banks and mining companies and those big shares that always seem to do well. So, what does that look like in crypto? Well, gas tokens are a good start. Every blockchain needs a gas token. Okay. So we need to look at, okay, what are the gas tokens? Because these things have utility, they can be assessed. One of the things we did in Wealth Farm that we worked really hard on is actually creating a set of filters that allow you to assess crypto. Because I'm sure you've been through this. You've probably been out for dinner or with some friends or having a conversation, and someone's told you to buy a certain coin, or they've told you about the latest hot coin, which could be, you know, the latest frog coin, or it could be bear coin or coffee coin or whatever coin it is. But how do you actually make an assessment of that coin and decide if it's worth buying or not? It's pretty much impossible. But within crypto, there are some categories of coins, gas tokens being one of them, DeFi tokens being another, where you can actually make assessments. And within the Wealth Farm program, we've got a set of filters that show you how to make those assessments, how to look at those tokens, see what's the longevity of them, the utility of them, the use of them, that gives them actual intrinsic value, not just community and meme value. So, that 65% of our portfolio, we want to be looking at how we actually own, really good quality tokens. Then with the 25%, at this time of the market, now I'm specifically talking about right now at this time of the market, because remember, the market moves in cycles. So at this time, we want to be looking at what are the narratives. So go ahead, type in the chat for me. What do you think the narratives are right now that could be driving some projects in this market? So in 2017, it was all about altcoins because Bitcoin was a thing, but altcoins were coming in. So Ethereum was new, Link was new, Cardano was new. All of these things were coming in. In 2021, it was about DeFi. Okay, so we had Uniswap, we had Aave, all of those things. It was the DeFi summer. Now, next bull run, what's the narrative? So what do we got here in the chat? Sally says AI, spot on. Donna Rose, the major industries, gaming, Web3, AI for sure. John, RWA, which stands for real world assets. Yep, you're all spot on. So for me right now, I think the things that are really driving this, AI, gaming, and then, yep, real world assets to a degree. I'm still not convinced on that one. We've seen that in the past. I've had some friends that were working on real world asset projects. Having said that, at the conference at the weekend, there was a presentation being given about tokenizing real world assets. So, absolutely. There's a couple of others. DPIN, DEPIN, which stands for Decentralized Physical Infrastructure. So computing power, it's a huge one right now. With AI, it needs a massive amount of computing power to be able to do what it does. And you can buy that computing power from Google or from Amazon. But there's also now a range of decentralized networks where you or I could own a node on a network and someone can tap into that computing power for their project. So that's another one. And then the other one that's just sort of emerging now is DSCI. Oops, SCI that says. Sorry, you can't see it. There you go. Decentralized science. So there's actually science projects and research projects coming on. That one's not so big. For me, the big ones are AI and Deepin. I think those are the two big ones, gaming to a lesser degree. But these are sort of the narratives that are running in this bull market. So then, how do you know which tokens to choose? Well, that's where we start looking at how we can break down what's their market cap, who's involved, all those sort of things. Things that we talk about again within Wealth Farm. And then who can guess what the 10% is for? And by the way, this is actually no more than 10%. Okay. Like that's 10% max. Who knows what that might be, what you might do that would only make up 10%. Donna Rose on the button, memes, speculative tokens, or your moon bag. I love that. The moon bag. Absolutely. Memes right now are in the spotlight. This is not new. This happened in the last run as well. But memes have been having their day. The difference now is the speed at which they can be deployed. Okay, last week, the week before, there was 180,000 tokens launched on the Solana blockchain. 180,000 separate tokens launched on the Solana blockchain. Now, you can pretty much guarantee that 179,950 of those are going to go to zero and do nothing. Of those other 50, one or two might have some life in them. How do you pick them? That's really, really hard. But is there an opportunity to make some gains on some of these tokens? Absolutely. Even the major ones that have been around for a while. So, like your Doge, your Sheeb, your Pepe, things like that that have been around for a while, still have that opportunity to move. Doge is a really interesting example right now. Obviously, with the change of government in the US, Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy, I can't say his surname, excuse me, Vivek, but those guys have been appointed to the Department of Government Efficiency. Have people been seeing this in the news? Are people aware of this about the Department of Government Efficiency? So if you write that down, it is the Department of Government Efficiency. Doge. So Doge had a little pump. So Elon Musk has been a fan of Doge for a while, and Doge had a little pump when it got officially announced that Elon was going to be in charge of the Department of Government Efficiency. But there's more beyond that as well. Elon is introducing payments to Twitter or X. Okay. So one of the things that X, the platform, is looking to become is an all-encompassing sort of platform that allows you to do more than just tweet and interact with people. They're looking to become more like a WeChat platform. If anyone's ever been to China or has Chinese friends familiar with WeChat, anyone familiar with WeChat? Let me know in our chat. WeChat is a Chinese app. Yep, Hems has used it, where you can do pretty much everything. So you just communicate with your friends, messaging, but you can book appointments, you can order food, you can send money to friends. It's pretty much a one-stop shop for all the things you need in your life, and it all exists in one ecosystem. And Elon has said he wants X to become like that. So one of the first steps is actually introducing payments. So then there's the speculation of what currency will be the payments currency of X. And people think Doge just because of Elon's involvement. People also think it could be Ripple, XRP, or Stellar, XLM. They seem to be the big three that people are going for. So your Doge, XRP, or XLM seem to be the ones that people are thinking, but no one really knows. So you could look at Doge as a meme, and you might want to hold a little bit. You might want to hold some Pepe, some Shiba, and then you look to the new ecosystems and go, okay, so what are the meme coins on different blockchains? Because of course, we've now got the Solana ecosystem, we've got the base ecosystem. It's a B. All of these new ecosystems coming through, and they all have their own meme coins. So the fanboys and fangirls on base would be buying the predominant meme coin on base. So is it worth owning a few? Absolutely, but small amounts, no more than 10%. I'm even reticent to say that. I kind of feel like it should be 5%. And for me personally, like I'll put $100 in these things. Like I'm small positions. But if I get a few of them that go off, and I can turn $100 into a few thousand, great result. And I do that on a few different coins, amazing result. But this is one of the key things we teach in Wealth Farm is actually portfolio structuring. Okay, how you want to actually structure your portfolio. And it's not just about what coins you want to own. Okay, that's where we are in the market right now. But let me talk to you about another thing that we teach. I'll just get rid of all this. We also do a lot with DeFi. Okay, so decentralized finance. So we're talking here about things that you can do with crypto that you didn't used to be able to do yourself financially. You would need a bank or a broker. So we're talking about lending, staking, liquidity providing. Things that you can do to actually earn yield. You can put your crypto in and start earning percentage yield. Okay. Now, when we look at that from a portfolio structure point of view, then we want to be dividing it up into different percentages. We might go 80-20 depending on what we're doing. But within that, we then want to break it up again because we're looking at how do we do this safely. So we've got guidelines there for actually how you can structure your portfolio in a way where you're not overly exposed. So if you're using these tools, you're not putting all your money in one basket. You're breaking it up. And then some of these might be, these might be different positions, different currencies, different blockchains, but looking at a way of diversifying your risk while earning yield. And these yields can be anything on stable coins. You could be earning anything from 8 to 15% per annum APY, which doesn't sound so exciting when we're talking about bull runs and 10x's and what have you. But if we're at a cycle in the market where we're not in the bull run, if your bank's paying you 3%, but you can earn 8% on crypto, why wouldn't you do it? But then the flip side to this is we can also accelerate that with some higher risk strategies. And, we could be earning 1 to 5% a day. Now, that's higher risk, higher management. It's a strategy that requires attention. So it's not for everyone. But this is why we developed the Wealth Farm system, okay? Because there's multiple ways to make money in crypto. And we wanted to make sure that people had access to the education, okay? So whether it's steady income is what you want, and you might look at some of those staking things. Whether it's growth, and that's where you're looking at buying your Bitcoins, your Ethereums, those coins, and where we are in the market cycle, like where we are right now in this bull market, then we've got a much heavier influence on growth. But if we're at a time where, say, 2026, where we've had the peak of the bull run and the market's going down, well, then we might want to switch our attention to steady and we'll take our money into stable coins and start earning yield with it. All right. And then we can go dynamic. So dynamic is more like those liquidity pools where we are earning 1 to 3 to 5% a day sometimes. but it requires management. It's something that you need to be looking at two, three times throughout the day, keeping an eye on it, making sure it's there, checking parameters. Okay. And then you can do something that we call venture, which is looking at newer tokens coming onto the market and can we look to do some short term plays on those. So, those are sort of the four key areas that we use to make money in crypto, depending where we are in the 4 year cycle. What I do with Wealth Farm is I give you all of those options so you can figure out what works for you. Okay. Everyone's different. Everyone's got different objectives, different risk tolerances. You're looking at different time frames, different amounts of time that you can actually put into your crypto. Like some people just want to own it and not touch it. Other people are happy to sit there and look at the charts and what they do. One of the other key things, I'll share this with you and then I'll wrap it up. I'm very conscious of your time. We've been going for an hour. I do appreciate you joining me on your Thursday evening. I see there's a couple of questions in the chat too, so I will come to those. This is one of the other key things that when we started teaching Wealth Farm, we were very, very conscious of people's behavior in the market. And some of you have probably been through this ride. Okay, so you've probably been through this ride where you've bought some crypto. Okay, so you've jumped in here and you've bought some crypto, and then the market's gone down. And you've just held your crypto, and the market's gone down and down and down. And you're like, all right, I haven't lost any money. I've still got my crypto. Don't do that. I shouldn't have held my pen on the page. So your balance has gone down. So maybe you've jumped in here and you've put $10,000 worth in. By the time you get down here, you know, maybe your $10,000 is now worth $2,000 because we've had an 80% correction. And we've seen that in the past, right? The 2017 bull market was an 83% correction. 2021 bull market was about a 77% correction. So it's entirely possible. And there are members in the wealth farm community who did exactly this with significantly larger amounts of money. They just got paralyzed on the way down. They didn't know when to get out. They didn't have a system. They didn't have the indicators of when to get out. So they watched it all go down. So now you go, okay, well, my crypto's worth 2,000, but that's all right. I haven't sold. I'll just wait till it comes back. And then I'll get back to here and I'll have $10,000. And then it'll come up here and I'll have $15,000. That's true and it will happen in the cycle. However, what's going on down here? You're in this sort of pit of despair. And you can say to yourself, I haven't lost any money, but it's not true. Because if I came to you and said, let's put $10,000 into something, here you could do it. Here you couldn't do it. Right? So you may not have lost in the long term if you're going to hold, but there's an opportunity cost to do it. And this cycle, it's a 4 year cycle. So you could be 3 to 4 years sitting here waiting for this to come back. Okay. It's not a good place to be. It's not good for your emotions. It's not good for your wealth, for your finances. And people do this with large amounts of money. You know, I hope not, but it would not surprise me if some of the 20 odd people here have actually been through this. And, as I said, there's members in the Wealth Fund program have done this. One put $250,000 in just before the top of the market and rode it all the way down to 20,000. That's a smart person too. That's a smart person who had worked in financial industries before, but they had not invested in the crypto markets, did not understand the crypto markets. Now, thankfully, that person's hold their assets. They're now coming back to that value, but it's not a good way to be. So what do we teach within Wealth Farm? How do we actually rectify that? We use a tool we call the Wealth Farm Indicator that actually follows the market. Okay. So the indicator actually follows the market. So as the market's coming up, the indicator comes up, the market goes down, the indicator goes down and follows it, and then the market comes up. So our indicator actually follows the market and it gives us these key inflection points. Okay. So when we get to here, these crossovers, key points. Okay. So if we're putting money in the market and we put our money in the market and our money's, riding up with Bitcoin, and we get to this point here where the value of the market crosses over the indicator, actually gives us an indication that it's going down. So we take our money out of the market. We switch from a volatile currency to a stable coin. Okay, and a stable coin is a coin that doesn't go up and down in value. Okay, so it'll stay valued at $1. So your 10,000 might have gone up to 11,000 and then it'll come down a bit because the market's turning over, but you might still be at 10,000. But now you sit sideways in the market. Okay, you've still got your $10,000. And then when the price crosses back over the indicator and starts heading back in, we can get in and we can start heading up again until such time as it crosses over, and then we get out again. So what this does, it actually gives us a system where we can continually be raising the watermark, and we don't have to go through that roller coaster, or down into that 3 or 4 year pit of despair. It actually gives us a system that allows us to manage our wealth, actually hold that value, continually have a rising watermark. And based on where we are in the cycle, we can then apply the different strategies within the wealth farm system to build wealth over time. Remembering that this is not trading. I'm not teaching you to read the charts every day and look for entries and exits. We're looking for long-term strategies that will build wealth over 3 and 4 cycles. Those that are a little bit older, like myself, understand that time goes by relatively quickly, and we're in this 4 year cycle. So 3 cycles is 12 years. Okay. And as you sort of get up in years a little bit, that 12 years is not really a very long time. So if we can just use some patience and some long-term strategies, have a good community around us that can support us through this and all times in the market, then it can actually make a really significant difference to our wealth. Let me go to the chat and see what's here, just get some questions, and then we'll wrap it up. Stephen says, a meme coin can morph into a blue chip or narratives bracket. Yeah, it absolutely could. There are some memes in the market where they're actually trying to launch a product around them. So they've launched the token first, it's gone as a meme, but now they're trying to give it utility. And then Doge, if Doge was to become, I actually don't personally think it will, but if it was to become, say, the Twitter payments coin, then yeah, absolutely could. Donna Rose has a question there. What do you offer or teach about bookkeeping and the trail of info that accountants need for our annual proctology inspections? Great question. I can certainly give you some guidance on different apps that are available for tracking your portfolio, tracking your buys and sells for doing that. We also have a great partner. His name is Matt Woolraith. Matt runs a business called Crypto Tax Made Easy, and he essentially is a bookkeeping service for crypto. So he can take that information and tidy it up for you before you can present it to your accountant. And he does an amazing job, actually. One of our clients, not this year, last year, 2023, he saved her 20,000 in tax through something that ended up being really simple. Sort of sidebar here, but something to be aware of when you're tracking these transactions is if you have multiple wallets and you're moving money between your wallets, the app that you're tracking with, if you're using an app like Coinly or CoinTracker or Crypto Tax Calculator, they need to know that those are both your wallets. Otherwise, when you send money out, it says, oh, you've sold it, and it counts it as a taxable event. Be it profit or loss, doesn't matter. It counts it as a what they call a disposal, whereas it wasn't. So in Chantel's wallet, she had all these transactions moving around, but she hadn't tracked that where they were going was actually her other wallet. So she'd prepared it all, and her accountant had looked at it and said, yeah, you've got this big tax bill. And she came to us and said, oh, shit, what do I do? We got her in touch with Matt. He went through, did some analysis on it, put it all back together, realized that a bunch of them were transfers, put it back together, which reduced, obviously, the amount of profit that it said she had made and saved her 20 grand in tax. So, yeah, so we've definitely got those there. Thanks, Ed. Great to have you here, man. Janice, I can thoroughly recommend Wealth Farm as a wealth building program which gives you strategies for understanding crypto markets in a bear or bull. Thank you, Janice, for saying so. Janice has been with us for a couple of years. Um, Wonderful woman. I hope she doesn't mind saying, but she's a woman a little bit older as well, which is fantastic to see people of all ages. I mean, our program, we have our oldest client is in their late 70s. Our youngest client is in the 20s. We have professionals, we have tradespeople, lots of men, lots of women, all coming together and supporting each other. How do I think the total crypto market cap will change or increase within the next 5 to 10 years? Do you feel within 10 years the crypto space will be a saturated market? It's like two different questions there. Is it a saturated market in what way? It's saturated in the way that there are a lot of cryptos out there. And that's why we try and define down to um, those blue chips and those categories because there's so much junk out there. But those cryptos that we can use the filters from within the wealth farm system, thanks, Donna Rose, within the wealth farm system, we can use those filters to actually, make assessments on those higher quality tokens. So saturated, yes, there'll be more and more and more. I mean, 180,000 in a week on Solana is crazy. Total market cap, I mean, it can easily be 10, $15 trillion in 5 or 10 years. Like it can easily be a massively larger market. Bitcoin, one of our students put up in the chat in our group a thing the other day that had the Bitcoin market cap in comparison to currency supplies of world currencies, and it was the seventh largest currency, and it was just behind the Australian dollar. It would have overtaken the Australian dollar quite possibly since that. So yeah, I think that can really grow. Guys, I'll wrap it up there. Let me just flick through here. What am I looking for? I've got a link for you if you want to know more. That is not it. Um, oh, these are just some charts from one of the strategies we teach, just some of the short term trades where it shows how you can make these short gains, and these are in a few days. Um, yeah, that's like the 21st to the 28th. So that's like a 46% return in 7 days. Now, when I said we don't teach trading, we don't teach active trading in a lot of strategies, but we do have this strategy that can help you take advantage as some of those newer coins come on the market. What I want to do are some testimonials here. Uh, I'll just share some of these with you from the point of view that I really like it, that they're not all about making money. Obviously, we help people make money. We've got testimonials from people saying making money, but I actually really like these ones. Dave, doing my first flywheel this weekend and all looking good. My farm only dropped like 3% when it could have been 20 to 30%. So when the market dropped 20 to 30%, Dave only had a 3% drop in his portfolio by using our strategies, which is great. Chris, um, BlockFi has gone Chapter 11. So Chapter 11 being bankruptcy. BlockFi was a centralized exchange. We knew it would be coming. If not for Roscoe and Paul, I would be looking at starting all over again. So Chris had all his money tied up in one crypto exchange, and we taught him how to be decentralized, how to self-custody his money and hold on to it for himself. Um, there's Daniel. Um, did some swaps based on what we were teaching, made 12% on ETH and 26% on WBTC. And then some of these you guys explain clearly. You talk English, taking the volatility out of crypto. This one's great. I think it's the first week I've been relaxed in crypto this year. So the system is finally working for me. Glad I chose to learn this strategy. So it's one of the things that I pride myself on is actually just helping people break this down, taking complex topics, making them simple, and really breaking them down. What I would love to do is invite you to find out more. Okay. If you're at all curious, now there is no obligation on this at all. I'll put this link in the chat. Let me type it in. I can't really type and talk at the same time. If you're curious at all about what we do, what I teach, how it works, I encourage you to click the link, go ahead and fill out the form. It's a really simple form. It just asks you your name, your email address, and then it asks you a few questions about where you're at in your crypto journey right now, what your aspirations are. Just help me understand a little bit about your position. And what we can do from there is actually just jump on a call. And as I said, no obligation. If you want to join us, great. If you don't, great. I wish you luck and point you in the right direction for where I think is the right thing for you to do. But yeah, happy to jump on a call, let you know a little bit more about how Wealth Farm might work for your situation, look at where you're at, give you some guidance on where to go. So, really encourage you to go ahead and click on that link. Let me actually just show you what it looks like when you get there. So, if we go over here, uh, so it just outlines those are the modules, those are the different modules we teach. So the quick start seeds gets you going straight away. You're actually doing DeFi and earning yield in module one. So within an hour of starting, you're actually right there. You've got the regenerative portfolio where we teach the base portfolio structure. Knowledge bank, we give you all the words and the language and the jargon, things you need to understand. We talk about designing your wealth farm, specifically around the DeFi stuff. Troubleshooting trifecta, people get stuck on this stuff. People get stuck when they're using platforms or maybe a deposit doesn't go right. They need to go looking for help. We teach you how to find help, how to ask for help properly, and how to be conscious of asking the right people. There are so many people out there that will try and scam you when you're looking for help. So, doing it the right way. Yield optimization flywheel. So, when you're in a DeFi season and using the DeFi tools, really important just to be actually checking on your portfolio every now and then. And that's not just on the positions, it also includes checking on the security, checking on the health of your portfolio. Profitable positions, where we dive into the filters and how you actually filter positions. And then we look at the visionary playbook. Why are you doing this? Accelerated pathway to actually, put the hammer down, how you can go faster. We have a private members area online. We have weekly Q&A calls. It's really great. Here's the form. So name, email, mobile number. Tell me about your current level of crypto knowledge. How much do you have available to invest? What inspired you to want to learn more? What impact would having a successful crypto portfolio allow you to have? For me, I'm building generational wealth. I'm building wealth for my kids, my grandkids, and beyond for some of the philanthropic causes that my wife and I support. I'm curious what it is for you. Something else, I'll just let you know. Thank you guys for hanging around and listening. Um, Wealth Farm, as it's described there, those 9 modules, is about to be updated as well. Okay. So that's the original version of Wealth Farm. Right now, I am writing and recording what I'm calling Wealth Farm 2.0. So, where we bring some of these new strategies in, where we bring more teaching around the charts, around the seasons. So, there's actually a bunch of new materials coming. We're going to be adding in a second weekly call as well. So at the moment, every Thursday we have a Q&A call on Thursday morning. We're actually going to be adding in a evening call, which will be an education call. So we'll be working on the strategies. So we might be looking deeper at the charts or deeper at some of the DeFi portfolios. So actually bringing more of that in, looking at bringing some other experts in to teach alongside me and help broaden your knowledge and guide you through the markets. The next 9 to 10 months, market willing and market doing what it's done, we're in for a really exciting time and a really exciting ride. And it's a great opportunity, if you're set up right, to do really well. And then beyond that, start launching into that long term generational wealth building over 2 or 3 cycles. But to do it, you need to understand the cycles. You need to understand the tools. For a starter, you'll need to learn to understand when the bull market is over so you can get out and lock in and maximize your profits. And then we look at how you actually continue to grow that money until we hit the next bull run. That is all I have to share, guys. That link is in the chat there, wealthfarm.co/apply. I highly encourage you to go there, fill out the form. As I said, no obligation, but happy to help. It's what I love to do. It brings me joy to help people do this, and we really are in this incredible time. So I would love to help you. I'd love to have a chat with you. Please go fill out the form there at wealthfarm.co/apply. And I look forward to really talking to some of you soon and hearing your success stories as we continue on through this bull market. Thanks again for joining me tonight. It's been great. I'm very appreciative of your time on a Thursday evening. Thanks very much and good luck in this bull market. All right. Good night, everyone.